Hi. This past Friday, I had the opportunity to go to the Union Project for Creative Mornings, which was just a really wonderful experience. If you've never had the time or the opportunity to check out Creative Mornings, I definitely encourage you to do that. It was a wonderful experience. This most recent one, the subject was courage, and the speaker that they had was from the Fred Rogers Foundation, and he did really an amazing job talking about courage. And I could go on and on about how wonderful his talk was. But the thing that I wanted to highlight was actually during the question and answer time. So somebody from the audience asked him, who do you think is the next Fred Rogers? And Junlei answered that question in a way that I thought was really beautiful. He talked about a conversation that he had, I think, recently with Mr. Rogers' wife, who is still living, um, and how when she gets asked that question, she talks about how it doesn't really matter what Mr. Rogers would do if he were here right now. It matters what you're going to do. And it wasn't a direct answer to the question, but what I took from it is something that I've said in workshops in the past, and I want to say it again, and I want to share it with you too. It's this idea that the world doesn't need a next awesome person, awesome famous person that we've all heard of. The world has already had that person. The world has already had a Mr. Rogers. And he was amazing and inspiring. And I mean, what an incredible legacy that he left. It's so wonderful. I absolutely love that he's from Pittsburgh. But the world has already had a Mr. Rogers. And so I think what Junlei was saying, and I hope I don't put words in his mouth, I don't know if he'll see this or not, but what I took from that is that what the world hasn't had yet is the next version of you, the next you that is living at absolutely the height of their potential. So I tend to think of things kind of in like tech startup terms, because that's the work experience that I've had a lot of. And so, we talk about, new versions. You want to get the next version out there that you've worked out some bugs. It's never going to be perfect, right? It never feels finished. But you can release a new version where you're at least working out some of the things that have come to your attention. And I like to think of that when it comes to personal development too. Instead of jumping into a shame spiral when we realize things about ourselves that we don't necessarily like, or ways that we realize we could potentially grow, but instead to realize, okay, it's in the next version. We're constantly learning and trying to work things out. So instead of striving to be the next so-and-so, the next person, as amazing as they are, we've already had one of them. What we need are the people that are currently alive right now, the people that are currently thriving and looking for ways to impact their community, for them to continually work to get the new release out, the next version that has learned to be even a little bit more open-minded, even a little bit more compassionate, even a little bit more flexible, even a little bit more creative in the way that we interact with people that are different from us. I really think that that is the way that we can make peace happen. And I think part of the reason, too, why it can be a little bit hurtful or harmful to ask questions like that, who is the next Fred Rogers, is that nobody feels the confidence to say, oh, me, for sure, right? That feels really self-aggrandizing to say, I'm definitely the next Fred Rogers, or whoever you may really respect or look up to. So, that can kind of prevent people from doing the progress that they need to do, feeling like, oh, these people are up here on this pedestal and I could never be like them. And even if I thought I could, I would never say it out loud. But, what we can do is be the next version of ourselves. So I hope that that's encouraging. And even beyond being encouraging, I hope that it's inspiring and motivating, because, we can wear ourselves out trying to be somebody else, but what will really bring us more energy and bring a lot more positive energy to our community is when we're just focusing on what's the next right thing I can do? What's the next best version of me that I can possibly offer? So I hope that that is encouraging to you, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Bye.